Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
It's Walsh.
How we doing, buddy?
Wildcard, baby. Wildcard week. It's time to break out of the upper 3 millions and enter the lower 3 millions.
There we go.
My body is ready for the rise.
It's a fun time though.
Yeah, it's fun. The world is your oyster, this and that.
It's almost like you're playing a not FPL quality fantasy game for a week. For a week, you get to make lots of decisions and lots of changes, and then you go back to playing FPL once the game week starts. And you're like, yeah, can't do that. Can't get that guy.
Reality. Yeah, dose of reality is
2 moves. I have to dock points from my team.
Yeah. How about you? How are you doing over there?
Yeah, I'm good. It was a crazy weekend. I mean, I'm mad at the schedule makers for all 4 great games on Sunday being on at the exact same time, but we did what we could. We watched highlights. We watched the games. We did, a lot of action. It's a lot of action.
Yeah, I watched a lot of good games on this weekend. It was a fun weekend for sure.
And then I left, and I think you left too. I think we both missed the 8-0.
I planned to watch 0 seconds of that game.
I was like leaving. My dad's like, "So, do you have any guys in this game?" I'm like, no, but a lot of people get like Newcastle defenders, so hopefully Sheffield United score, but they suck, and it'll probably be a Newcastle clean. And check my phone later. Oh, 6-0. Oh, 8-0.
Yeah.
I'm like, try triple return, double return. I'm just like, oh, okay. My 500k green arrow is now a 500k red arrow. So
yeah,
but I don't really care. Who cares?
Yeah. What are you gonna do? One of those.
So why'd you rip the wild card?
I just feel like I needed to get Mo. Like was enough where I'm just sitting with players that are kind of a mess. Like Rashford.
Here's the team.
Rashford tilted me over the edge, really. Like ultimately just the experience of owning him and watching. I think I've watched every Man United game this year. Awful. Just absolutely horrendous. 6 games of how many hours that is added up. I don't want to do the math.
Well, it's that, and it's also, many seasons of him being kind of disappointing and frustrating. Not last season, but before that, right? Yeah,
and I've whatever. So that was a big pain point, and obviously the Chilwell situation and the Chelsea. I got rid of Nico. That was a huge gainer on that move. But having Chilwell and Sterling still, my defense with Henry is in shambles, and I just had, I have like Gahey, who's in air quotes fine, but, not in the context of the rest of my defense. I have like Saliba, who I don't really want anymore. They're about to have some... the whole thing was just kind of a mess, and I just still didn't have
bad when you looked at your team.
Yeah, it just felt bad. I'm not going to make 9 changes or something. I'm probably going to keep Saka, Son, Holland, probably Alvarez. We'll come on to talk about City at some point. Like maybe Udogie, probably Udogie. I don't know, but ultimately there are going to be some heads rolling. So that's kind of what I was looking at. I had 73 this week, which was like, I don't know, bad. I guess.
I guess it was that's actually a solid score. You went up. It's around what like most of the top teams' average was. But what I was gonna follow up question is just like, so last week, I feel like we both kind of agreed, it doesn't feel like a good wildcard week. There's so many unknowns, and there's not like a clear template group of guys to get. But then this week, you're pulling the wildcard. So do you feel like that core group grew? Because I feel like it did with the Newcastle game and some other things, to where it's not like 3-4 guys. It's like, 6-7 guys now maybe that are like nailed.
Yeah. I felt like Saka, Salah, Son, Holland is like that should be the base of every team. So
not Alvarez.
No, not Alvarez. I mean,
okay.
well, we could just start talking about City right now. I mean, They have Wolves this week, and then their run is at Arsenal, home Brighton, at Man United, home Bournemouth, at Chelsea, home Liverpool, home Spuds, at Villa.
Is that good?
It's not good.
Yeah.
I think there's one home banker, home Bournemouth, and the rest of the fixtures are they're just bad.
Tough one where it's, it's the same old story always with City, right? It's like, does it matter? By far best team in the world,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know yet, but I hear you. That's something to think about. I mean, I don't know if anyone gives a shit about my team. I scored 69 points, went down a little bit. Who cares? Move on. Let me do league updates. One more game week of September, I think. Yeah. Game week 7 still September. So shout out to the leaders so far for the Mug League, the Prize League, the Patreon League. Blake Matthew, a.k.a. Yank FC, Hannes Bjartmar, a.k.a. Diogo J and Silent B, and a tie for third place between Adam Nepp, a.k.a. Kulu has live sports, and Rob Valencia Cook, a.k.a. Mount Madness, leader of the public league. Good job by you. Zach Marcus, a.k.a. Cuck Fitty. You should be Cuck tier if you're going to name yourself Cuck Fitty, but that's a different thing. But where do we begin?
I mean, there's so many jumping off points. How
about Chelsea?
Quickly, yeah, fine, go.
I mean, they're a disaster. They are a big part of the reason I think that sparked you to Wildcard. I'm still here, not on Wildcard. Maybe by the end of the pod I will be on Wildcard, but I'm on triple Chelsea with Chilwell, Cole, Raz. Wallace and Plady asking about what to do with Chilwell. Is he a possible hold with the Gusto Red, or is he easy transfer out? Bear asking, what do I do? I have Nico, Raz, and Chilwell, so much pain. Plady and Aaron asking about Raz. What the fuck are we doing here with this team? And every week, no goals, drop points in games that they should be picking up points, good underlines, until the red card, kind of controlling the game until the red card, and then, just lose and don't create chances after the red card, except for that Chilwell one. I don't know. What's the deal? All out, right?
Well, for me, it's obviously that's
for wild
very
card,
easy, but what are you?
Question.
I mean, what are you looking at here?
I mean, Colwell, I think, is still just underratedly completely fine. I mean, their defense has been,
or whatever.
Yeah, their defense has been steady. He's 4-5. He's nailed. He's actually getting some attacking chances, but even if he wasn't, I think he's still fine.
Yeah.
So
he has
that's
2
like
startable
whatever
fixtures right now, also coming in.
Yeah, don't need to talk about him. Obviously, if you have Gusto, get him out of your team. He's banned for 3 games, and then their fixtures turn. But yeah, I mean, Nico obviously also instant transfer out. I mean, he's suspended. He's a joke. Whatever. Chilwell.
Wait a minute. He's a joke, right?
I mean, it's
he has banned for a game, and you're fine. Now you get rid of him.
Well, the ban is not just a ban. Honestly, if he headbutted someone Darwin style, I would feel a little more okay with him than a 5th yellow for dissent after Poch publicly is like, this guy is a fucking idiot. He needs to not do this. I'm telling him not to do it every day, and he still does it. And then he does it. It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable. But yeah, I did put the units on anytime goal score. I mean, when Alvarez blanked, I was this is 100% nailed that Nico's punishing Walsh here. But even the lore.
He can't even. Yeah, the lore doesn't even help him. Even when he has
the lore at his back can't even, lift him up. But
I mean, he's got to be second in the league in NPXG behind Haaland, right? I mean, how could he not be?
Yeah, I mean, he's up there for sure. I mean, there's no question about that.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting person this guy is. It's unbelievable how quickly he has turned the tables against him within a matter of a month. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, non-penalty XG per 90, he's 5th and Haaland is 1st.
Okay.
And then non-penalty XG just total, he's 2nd to Haaland because he's started every game, and the other guys that are in between is Darwin, Callum, and Ferguson. So there you go. But yeah, Tretch is a tragic start from him. And my favorite part of the Chelsea questions is Hardly Boyd said, I'm trying to zag while everybody else is zigging. How essential is Broya about to be now that he's fit and Nico's serving a suspension? I was just like, great minds think alike. Like Sunday, I was trying to convince Walsh for Broya on his wild card. Like, I love it. I love that thought. But Raz, I mean, he's definitely on the chopping block. Like, I'm at the point where I'm like, if my team is greatly improved, I have 2 frees this week with 3 moves and a hit, and that involves getting Raz out. That seems totally fine to me. Like, he's not a one-man machine. He's not Holland, right? Like, he needs other people around him to cut back to. He needs other people to create the chances. He's just alone, and like, as bad as Nico's been, he was still part of the attacks even when Raz was a better pick, right? And so it just hurts him. And Chilwell out of the team hurts him too. Honestly, I still believe that. So I mean, he might leave my team this week. I haven't really tinkered that much with transfers, even with the really good next 2 fixtures. I think it's totally fine to move him. Chilwell, I think, is a classic. You could find reasons to hold him with the Mallow red, but you should probably just get rid of him and not even think about it. Do you agree with that?
I disagree with the first part. I can't find reasons to hold him. I think that's insane. Yeah,
find reasons, I guess I meant like talk yourself into it.
Like what? He's gonna play right back?
No, I don't. Disasi, like the whole slide over, the electric slide over. Disasi's right back and Chilwell's left back.
I mean he's the most urgent removal in the world. But yeah, I think with Raz's, I agree with all of your points. It's just look at his fucking season. 2-2, 19 home Luton triple return, 2-2-2. I mean, he's fucking blanked every game except for home Luton in the game in the year so far.
Oh yeah.
It's just you don't need to overthink it, really. It's just Luton we thought like first few games we're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Luton game, okay, they have easy fixtures they can kick on, and then it's just haven't scored a goal against home NFO, at Bournemouth, home Villa. The season's too short to hold on to players on teams that are sinking ships, thinking that this might be the week. No fixture is easy. At Craven Cottage, for a bad team, doesn't scream goals. They should just comfortably lose or 0-0 draw. Like, that's how I expect that game to go.
Yeah, I
think Raz is just a bad pick.
It sounds stupid, but like, if you focus your team on transferring out your worst performing assets, that's a general good strategy, right? I mean, there's a lot of weeks, and we fall in this trap as well, where it's like, I want to get this guy, so I'm gonna make my defensive move or forward move instead of my mid who's blanking every game. But usually, getting rid of the guy who blanks every game is better. Because your forward that you really want to get might blank, and the guy that you already have might score, and that's FPL, baby. So, but yeah, I mean, okay, there's such a stench. It's really rough, and it's gonna be interesting to see like how Poch and ownership reacts to this, because I mean, this is horrendous. Yeah. They had like the easiest run outside of the Liverpool game week 1. In the entire league.
Oh yeah.
Easily. And they're just not getting points.
Yeah. And I mean, they have the at Fulham, at Burnley, and then they're about to have a really, really brutal run for, a month and a half, 2 months, basically.
Home Arsenal, home Brentford, at Spurs, home City, at Newcastle, home Brighton, at Man United, at Everton, and then, then that's better after that.
December,
but that's crazy bad.
Yeah.
I can't wait to bring in Nkunku for at Everton game week 16, though.
Yeah, right.
Earmark that in my plans.
Right. I mean, the Broge question is obviously somewhat tongue-in-cheek, because I'm sure longtime listeners of the pod know our previous with the Hodel Broge. But he's 4'9".
He's 4'9".
There's no way he can play 90 minutes right now. So he's probably in the, between 55 and 70 minute mark for the next couple of games, I would guess.
Yeah.
And after the next 2 games, they have a horrendous run. So I don't really see what you're doing there or how you're doing a good thing,
Yeah.
It's just hard for me to imagine that. I do think he's a very, 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 very good player. I just don't get what's the angle. Am I missing something there?
I mean, it's just a potential like game breaking kind of thing if he were to get the spot and just, secure it. Like Poch is historically just stuck with his guys, stick with the winning 11, stick with the guys who are performing, doing what he wants. And he can't be happy with Nico Jackson missing every chance and dissenting every game, right? So Broja comes in, let's just say he scores and they win. Like, he's just going to keep starting. Like, I don't think
even
has
if
any
he's starting,
allegiance.
just say he's starting. I think he's starting. I'm not even questioning that. I mean, I think he's going to be at least given a run of 5-6 games starting. But I mean, is he going to get points? Like, I don't believe he's going to get points.
I think he will. I mean, you compare him to the other cheap starters are like Morris and Archer. Like, they're on the worst two teams in the league, right? It's like Chelsea are still going to get chances. Right. And that this is where like that underlying argument comes into play. Right. It's like you can underline all you want, but if you're Nico Jackson, you're dissenting and you're missing every chance, it's not great. But like, they'll probably lose a bunch of those games, but I still think they're going to score goals. Like Arsenal give up chances on the counter. Spurs give up chances all day, every day. Brighton give up chances, like that. If he actually is starting and Chelsea are starting to play into a little bit of better form, partially by nature of him starting over Nico, I think there's goals there, but it's probably an unnecessary risk, and it's probably not a spot that you're ever going to really start, and I think that like dents the appeal a lot also, right? It's like, even if he is starting, he's going to be like second on your bench, best case ever, right? Like,
I'm definitely not as bullish of like this Chelsea scoring goals in the next run as you are, I think.
Well, it's I think for him, like the easy games are sometimes harder. You know what I mean? Like the game plan is harder, right? For like home NFO and whatever at West Ham, like that's easy and like they're obviously heavily favored. But I think like a game plan perspective, it's a more difficult, complicated route to goals. Whereas like if they pick up a little bit of form and they're just countering 2v2 at Spurs, that's the easier thing, even though it's a tougher game. You know what I mean?
I guess I'm not putting them not doing well because their game plan is bad. I'm putting them not doing well because the squad is a fucked up mess. No one knows what to do and no one's played together before. So I don't really, maybe they'll have an easier time when they can let the other team dictate terms. I just don't think, when you score 0 goals in 3 easy ass fuck fixtures that, and you're losing players, to bans, to this, to that, like looking at their players available, I'm like, this is not going to be getting better anytime soon.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think because with Broja, it's like, there's no sense in paying extra for him to put him on the Archer spot. So if you have him, you basically are saying, I'm starting him. And otherwise, I don't think that it makes sense to from a game playing strategy standpoint, I don't.
The only other case for him would be like it's a lottery ticket, and maybe I got lucky, and maybe he's just a great pick, but that's all it is.
Yeah,
but
I think, what I'm saying is like you need to structure your team like where you're putting a lot of stress on him, because if you're not, what's the lottery ticket? If you buy him, you put him in, and the rest of your team is like, I'm playing this 5 million forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the lottery ticket for me, if I was building a team, if you have the money, I don't even know if you do, would be like just going to treat him like he's second or third on the bench. And maybe 3 weeks from now, I'm like, oh, he's fucking amazing. And I'm going to start him every week. Yeah. And like I have an extra really good attacker.
But then you just transfer him in at that point. He's so cheap, right? I mean, do you need a stash for that?
No, you don't.
Probably.
You don't.
Yeah. But I see what you're saying, though. Yeah.
I like the thinking. Is all. We could go to Man United, another underperforming team with a lot of assets, and another reason why you're wildcarding.
Yep.
So Aaron said, do I just -8 Rashford out to get Mo and fodder? Brendo said, what are your thoughts on Højlund as a replacement for Bastard Man Jr., a.k.a. Nico Jackson?
That is a stunning one for me. People are considering him to transfer him in.
I guess that's how few forwards there are in the game.
Yeah.
But
okay. I'm out of touch there. That's okay.
Bruno scored the worldie. I don't feel good with Bruno in my team. I mean, did you see that fucking 11?
Did you see the game?
Yeah.
I mean,
right. Those things go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. I mean, Bruno and Rash, like just comparing them and seeing the season so far, are kind of interesting. This just like the perception of owning them or what they've been doing. But I mean, there was also the element. It seemed like to me where you're looking at an old, thin, bad squad in the middle of like a fixture pileup, and
and an injury crisis.
Yeah, injury surprise. Old players lose availability. Could never have imagined that. Like you buy, people who are assaulters like Anthony stuck in Brazil. Whatever.
Yeah.
They seem to just not even really attempt to play against Burnley, honestly. I mean, that was one of the most damning performances I've ever seen in my life of the manager of the Ten Hogs. It was, I mean, they're playing a promoted team. I mean, it's not like they were playing Villa where it's like, oh yeah, good team, Villa's a good team. Like,
yeah,
they were playing,
hurt. Let's just sit on our lead. Like
they're playing Burnley, who have like 20-year-olds everywhere. And it wasn't remotely competitive at all. I mean, it was not even close to being a competitive game. They just sat back and basically parked.
They scored a worldie and just sat on the lead. Yeah,
they created nothing, and they just didn't even seem interested in the game. Luckily for them, Burnley's players are Burnley's players. So when they get into the box, they don't know what the fuck to do.
They're so bad.
Yeah, it's similar to the Chelsea thing where I'm like, why would this get better? I can't create that line. Everything that I think about is it gets worse.
If you told me magically everyone was fit, I could make a case. Like next week, I'm just like, okay, yeah, defense will get better, the ball progression will get better. Bruno won't be playing right wing, yada yada yada. But that's obviously not the scenario. A new person gets hurt every week, and a new youth player or I haven't played at the club for 15 years. Johnny Evans gets inserted into the 11 every week. That's reality. So
I mean, McSauce is out there starting a couple games in a row. I
think they're definitely not where you want to be in fantasy. Despite the greenish color of their fixtures, I don't even think they're that good. I mean, obviously at Sheffield United in Game Week 9 is good, but home Palace, home Brennan, those are going to be really hard games for them. I think those are going to be combative, low scoring, difficult for them to create any chances of note games. I mean, maybe I'm totally wrong, but that's how I'm seeing it. So I don't really see the upside that much with Holding.
No, and I mean, they didn't have Hodglands, but everyone was available Game Week 1, Game Week 2. They've looked like fucking dog shit. They've looked like dog shit all season. This was the worst performance for me, though, that I've seen them play. And that is saying something because there are very, very high contenders for that claim. It's a mess. I mean, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
And I think you don't want to be anywhere near this team right now as they continue to play more games with less players, and they look completely like a complete mess. It's getting worse. It's just getting worse. I mean, we said this last week, right? I was very critical of them last week. Yeah. And because
the Brighton
worse.
game was, in my opinion, was the worst. That was just what are you doing? You know exactly how Brighton are going to play, and this is how you set up, and you get exploited.
The same thing happened against Burnley.
Burnley
could have 3-1 them.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't close. The game wasn't close. It was Burnley. At least the other game was Brighton is the fucking top 5 team or whatever,
Yeah.
Either way, totally. I mean, again, we're arguing over which is the worst. They're both terrible.
Which is the worst performance.
They've all been bad. They're bad. So I think it's time to just.
It's revisit in 2 months. If they, if results improve, it's okay, See you then, get them then or whatever. But I'm with you. Yeah. Okay. That was a quick one. Don't need much more there. Where to next?
Well, I mean, let's go to Newcastle, I guess. 8-0, obviously. He did the thing, right? Callum started. It looks like he is going to be trying to prioritize. I mean, I think they have a City, I think, in the League Cup.
Yeah, they have City in the Cup.
I mean, this is going to be a long segment, so let's get into it.
Okay.
What did the 8-0 really tell us? Like, I'm still not sure, honestly, because they played some reserves. I mean, they lost Barnes. Sheffield United are just, they're Sheffield United, but, they're still coming into like the Milan game. Everything went for the 0-0. They have this other midweek game here coming up that, it looks like he's prioritizing. And then they have Paris like the next midweek.
Yep.
I mean, their B team and their same 4-3-3 structure, they're good enough to beat, obviously, Sheffield United, Burnley coming up, Wolves, maybe Palace, West Ham, which is, I'm naming the next 4 fixtures out of order. And then it gets a little bit shakier.
Interestingly out of order.
Yeah, and then it gets a little bit shakier. Game week 11, it's, some good, some bad, kind of, some home games in there. But because now I'm just trying to parse away, like, they have an 8-0, get all the defenders in. But a week ago, we were kind of like, okay, it's fine. Botman, maybe trips, like maybe. I mean, does that one game tilt it and tip it over to like, oh my God, like it's so obvious. Like, of course, like everyone get trips. Like, I'm still not there. I might be crazy.
A week ago, I was saying if I was on Wildcard, Botman 100% and trips very likely in my team. That's what I was saying on the pod, right? And I think that this just made trips from very likely to I would almost definitely find a way to put him in my team. I mean, that's it. And that's all it's done. It hasn't really changed. I'm not bringing in fucking like Bruno G, right? I'm not bringing in Gordon on 4 yellows. I'm not bringing Almiron. Like Burn and Bauman scoring goals is actually like never. When's the last time they fucking score goals? Actually, I think Burn did score one last season, but Botman?
He hasn't scored. Well, he could have had a few last year. I mean, he's tough to watch in the box. But yeah, no, I mean, it went back to the thing of trips, clean sheets aren't 4, but the other ones are. Like, we can recycle that. We talked about that last year ad nauseum.
Yeah. But yeah, basically that's where I am. Is like, yeah, they're the number 1 defenders to get. And I think that's cemented even more true after this. And that's all I have for it. It's like you're looking for a Chilwell replacement, you're looking for a Henry replacement, you're looking for, I don't even know. So you want to get rid of Saliba, whatever it is, whatever defender slot you're changing, Gusto, you should probably just get a Newcastle guy. And
where do you see them in terms? I mean, they have low key just kind of picked up where they left off last year defensively, right? I mean, they didn't keep it clean for the first handful of games. And then now they have a few in a row, if you count the Milan game. I mean, they got battered by Brighton, lost to City. The Liverpool game was like, sort of like throwout. That was such a weird game.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you view them defend? Like, they play Arsenal at home game week 11. Is that like good? Like, is this like, do we look at them as like City defenders? Like, where you just start, if you have them in your team, you just start them automatically?
Trips for sure. I think he's in a different category, right? The assists, the bones, in a loss, he can score a goal and whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think that even pre 8-0, if you just take them by the numbers, it's like they kind of have just picked up where they left off. They're just a good team. We just still aren't used to them being good, so it's still weird. And obviously they lost 3 in the bounce, but those were away City, home Liverpool, away Brighton. I mean, you can those are
some of the
as difficult as it gets, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The other games pre-Sheffield United, they beat the absolute fuck out of Villa, who are pretty decent sometimes. I don't know what the hell Villa are. And then they easily coast after a penalty against Brentford and don't allow any chances, right? Yeah. Like, that's just who they were last year, and they've just continued being a good team. So yeah, I think that like it remains to be seen if we need to make further adjustments, but for now, if I was getting trips, I would just be like, he's just starting every game.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like just hard for me to wrap my head around how they're going to actually be keeping cleans, with regularity when they have all these games. I don't know.
Well, they definitely
I don't know if
dodged
I'm,
a
like,
bullet
in-
with the Botman injury not really being anything. He missed one game, right? So
Yeah.
that was a huge bullet dodge. They're one injury away from me being like, "Oh, the center back duo is really fucking bad," or whatever.
Yeah.
And they were winning by so much that they were able to rest Trips. He came off on like 60 something, right? So that's huge for them. They're old. But yeah, I mean, until something changes, I don't think there's any real reason to not go for these players.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
yeah,
about on your wild card? How many do you think you'll have?
I mean, up to 3. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Botman feels like he's pretty immovable just because.
Yeah, Botman's nailed in your team with the price.
Yeah, just the price, and I obviously like him a lot, and he's actually good, unlike Burn. Yeah, I mean, I've gone from anything. Like, I've played with 3 of them. I've played with 2. I've played with just Botman with more of like a rotational thing, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the trips question on Wildcard is very challenging because you're basically sacrificing. I mean, I mentioned that core, the 4 earlier, that I can't imagine going without any of those 4 players. But if you get trips in, you're basically saying, okay, I'm not getting Maddo.
I mean, it's a funny old season where 4 weeks ago we're like, wow, we don't need money at all, ever. Fast forward to your wild card, and people, I think people were having the same issue last week too with their wild card teams. It's just like Mo's 12.5, Son's 9, Saka's approaching 9, still have Holland who's 14. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, for sure.
Even last week I was like, Trent is going to be the next bandwagon. Well, we might not be able to afford him.
Yeah,
he's still 7-9. Where are we getting that money?
Yeah, I don't know. We're not. I mean, we're the
not
answer.
Right. I mean, even if you found a way to have trips in your team, whatever sacrifices that took, you'd still have to find a 1 point something million to get Trent.
Yeah.
If you want to like make that switch, it's just like doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It just doesn't work at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so that's the trips question in my tinkering so far that I'm gonna have to answer by Friday night bedtime.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big one. I have
no idea. Yeah, I have no idea where I'm gonna end up.
Yeah, I really don't think that much, which is so weird, but I don't think that much was learned from the 8-0 or that much even really changed. Like if they won 1-0 with a trips assist or 8-0, I think we'd be on here saying like the same thing. Like, yeah, their defenders are good and Trips is a great pick and you should probably have him. Right? It's like,
I guess that's what I'm trying to separate from like, I mean, we would, sure. But just like but like because he has got 18 points.
I mean,
like how loud is that? Like how much is that like coloring, because I mean, I really like, Maddo, I want to have him kind of, and I like the idea of, spreading it out more in defense. And it's a big bet to make, getting trips. And, we know we kind of played that last year with like, trying to cover the cleans with the cheaper guys. And, it's dangerous because
it's dangerous with him, especially. I mean, it just doesn't seem to work because of like how he's built.
Yeah. It's like you have to have 2 players to get his points from the same team, kind of is how it seemed to work last year.
Right.
And, so I don't know, but like, I don't feel good enough, like getting tripling on them, like I don't think that's going to actually happen.
Seems like overkill, especially like, I know some people have been looking at Pope. It's like Ariel is 1.5 million cheaper, right? It's like, that's just ridiculous. Like I'm not for that.
Yeah.
People will go Shar, like a lot of people last week on their wild cards went Botman Shar, couldn't find a way to get trips. Like, it's good.
I could see doing that. I mean, there's no way.
It's good.
There's no way there's no way I'm having Dan Burn on my team. He could be fucking 3.5. I can't put it. He's not
3.5. You're not
he's not in. He's not in, baby.
Dude, that's hard.
Yeah, I mean, Shar Botman, like if it lets me keep Maddo, like I could see myself kind of going there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a really tough one for you.
Yeah. I mean, this has the propensity to just be like 5 games pass, and I'm just like, what was I thinking? Trips just
Either
does
way.
9, 12.
Yeah, in either direction.
2.
Like you could get them and they don't clean, and then they have their fixture run goes from good to bad, and like Trips gets rested one game, and you're fucking furious that you went there. And then the other way is like he just gets so many points as we kind of expect, and then you're just like, what the hell was I doing? Yeah.
I don't know.
Tough one, man. Tough one. Let's talk about Liverpool West Ham, because I think that. Well, I mean, we got a couple questions about Bowen. Ferguning said, "Is Bowen worth the transfer in, or are you wary of the new manager bounce from insert manager's name here after Heckingbottom is sacked on Monday?" Which I don't think happened, but I feel you. And
Shouldn't
Ben
happen.
said, "Which West Hammer is the best to bring in for game week 7? Because their fixtures. Well, I guess he just means for home Chef U.
Yeah, I mean,
Bowen is
Chef
good.
U. Who did Chef U just play?
They just lost 8-0 to Newcastle.
How did all those goals get poured in?
A lot of set pieces. JWP bells are ringing. Yeah, the golf swings are swinging.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is JWP game for sure.
Why does he do
Sheffield
the golf
United
swing
game.
thing? Is that a Bale shout out?
Isn't it a baseball swing?
No way.
Swing a
He doesn't
baseball
even know
bat?
what baseball is. His name is James Ward Prowse.
I don't know what they
He
do.
plays
on the South
cricket,
Coast.
probably.
I don't know. It's a cricket. I don't know what the fuck, dude. I can't keep up with all these chavs and all their.
But yeah, Jimmy
nonsense.
Ward Prowse is just gonna feast on these guys, right?
But I do think the Bowen pick is just good. I mean,
Very
they
good.
look good. They have a good run. He looks reinvigorated like he did a couple of seasons ago. I mean, I don't know what was going on with him last year.
Yeah.
He just looks great. I mean, the one thing with him that's like a little bit annoying is like bonus points are a little bit hard to come by. We saw that last year. So, we're looking at, he's getting 7s when he scores his goal, and they haven't kept it clean yet, but that should change. They've had some fairly difficult fixtures so far with the exception of 1 or 2. I think Bowen's a good pick, but I don't know. I mean, JWP's, I'm like pretty sure I'm going to have him on my team.
Oops.
I mean, I can't believe I'm there. I was like mocking this.
Yeah,
game week 3. Like, are you kidding
last
me?
week? Yeah.
But I mean, when you're talking to me, I mean, look, just him playing with Paqueta and, or if Suchek
Alvarez
plays with Edson in playing every game sitting, like he does have a little bit more open play about him. And I mean, the set pieces, I mean, why would they stop? They're a team of absolute huge monsters with boys. I mean, it's like they should. This is like Pulis West Brom days to me, where it's just like I expect a goal from a set piece every game.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a Liverpool supporter watching them against my team, it was just like, oh my God, don't concede a corner there. Like, the fucking foul. He's going to be JWP free kick here. Like, nightmare. They were just getting heads on everything.
Yeah. And I mean, I see that just continuing. So he might be on pens. I mean, we have no idea who's on pens.
Yeah,
it could be literally any of 4 players, and you wouldn't be surprised. But he might be on pens. We don't know what's going on in training.
Yeah, I mean the shout about him playing like a bit more further forward and that kind of stuff. I mean, he is doubling his underlying numbers from when he was on Southampton so far. Just straight up doubling the expected numbers.
Yeah, he was strictly a 6. I mean, pretty much the whole year last year.
Him and Romeu most of the time, just sitting back there.
Just pivot, holding. And we've only seen very small glimpses of him playing more forward when Ralph was there. I mean, he would I remember, he'd play him for a few games in a row or something, trying something new, and then, put him back in the trenches or whatever. But
Sheffield United last game obviously colors these stats a lot, but most set play XG conceded, most set play shots conceded, both Sheffield United, 0.6 XG per game and 6 1/3 shot per game allowed on set pieces.
It's insane. I mean, it also is by nature of they play 5-5-0 formation and they're in their own box the whole game. So they fucking let up
clearing for corners all the time.
All they're doing is sitting back and getting fucked. So
yeah. Jesus. Yeah. I mean, and like, again, the money thing, I think, is just such an interesting, like, talking point through preseason, through now, and it'll pop up again later in the season, I'm sure. But, you know, like, game week 2, if I was like, dude, a 6 million JWP, that glue guy that you can just hold, we would both been like, you don't need fucking glue guys. It's the last thing you need this season. We all just have like 8 million mids on Arsenal and Man United, and they're great. And now it's just like, man, a 6 million guy that I never have to transfer out, regardless of fixture, who's just going to tick and get 180 points probably. Like, that sounds really fucking good now all of a sudden.
Yeah. JWP, good pick. Bowen, good pick. And a lot of good picks. Yeah.
Bowen looks so good.
You're really impressed with West Ham this year. You know, I mean,
me too.
Been really down on Western for a while, I feel like. And, you know, the performances they've been putting in this year look... I mean, I just don't know how they all of a sudden bought, like they have adults at the table making these decisions, because
Didn't
this
Brian link us to some article of like someone else is in charge?
Yeah, one of the Dildo brothers dies and they immediately start buying like competent players.
They just probably have like a nerd son or nerd nephew who's just into analytics, and he's like, no, trust me, Kudus is insane. Like,
Moyes keeps trying to buy fucking Fridge, El Frigo, and McSauce, and you know. For some reason they don't happen. Like, I don't know why, guys. Like, you know, and then they
sorry,
get
David, it fell through, but you know, we're getting this DM who can pass from Ajax, so you know, just shut your mouth.
Yeah. God. All right, what else we got going? Should we go to the end?
But well, in the same game though, I mean, Liverpool are just and just the attack is just unreal.
Yeah.
And, you know, so like Mo is obvious. I mean, Jabroni's question is interesting. He said, is Mo still worth it over Trips plus a Saka or Foden or Bowen, right? That age-old question of like, is the premium worth it over two guys? Which
Mo is non-negotiable at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's just do anything to get him in your team and figure out the rest later, I think.
And to clarify on why that's changed so dramatically for me is I feel like the points are very unreliable from a batch of players where I thought it would be so easy to, like, you're just fishing with fucking dynamite, where you had like Rash, Bruno, Odegaard, Saka, like fucking all, like, I was like, oh, there's going to be 7 or 8 midfielders who are all going to be very regularly returning and all look great. So that's going to be fine. And that is not at all been fine. Yeah. And the steadiness of the Mo points is just, you know, really nice. Also, not to go completely unrelated, is you're going to cap him a little bit here, you know, because, you know, aforementioned
in the run.
Yeah, City run is diabolical. And, you know, I don't think Haaland's going to be, you know, I'm probably going to just cap him a couple times in the next couple months. So, you know, we're going to be looking elsewhere. Do they line up
with the bad ones? I haven't really looked.
Let me check. They have...
Yeah, I mean...
Bournemouth
Home
is 11.
NFO when he's at Old Trafford. That's a good one.
They have an 11. Luton. Yeah, that's an issue. That's annoying. Really annoying. Liverpool have Luton.
Yeah, Liverpool have Luton. They have home Bournemouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that's so tricky with Haaland, and this isn't really a this week discussion though, but you look at Arsenal again week 8, and I'm like, they wiped the floor with Arsenal last season. Yeah. Like, it was like Haaland was licking his lips in that fixture, and I'm like, oh, am I not capping him there? Like, I might still cap him there.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about City a little bit more with the tough run, but let's finish up on Liverpool. So, I mean, but other than Mo, though, I mean, there's to me still just no picks.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I've been saying this all season.
Yeah, Darwin,
I've said it in preseason. Yeah, at some point, there's going to be a time where you can thread the needle and get like a 3 out of 4 Darwin starts. It might be right now. I think that now is not the worst time. He's playing so well. 2 tough games where you need his pace behind these high lines of Spurs and Brighton away games. It might be now. I mean, Mishka obviously already brought him in, but that that doesn't need to be explained. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just think that also, like you were saying, the things that's changed and why Mo is so good. I mean, I thought Liverpool were going to be better, obviously, than last year, but I didn't expect this level of attack. I mean, every game, I'm just like surprised if we don't score 3, and it's just like they're just playing full on basketball. Like, yeah, you can have your chances, but we're just gonna be better and score more chances.
It's still fucking insane to me that you guys got Szoboszlai.
He's the fucking best player in the world.
We've been on him for like 3 years back when he was like, it's so insane that he's 22. Actually in Liverpool. I can't have 22. Him fucking. He's always in my UCL fantasy team, and I can't have him anymore. It's fucking
he's
so
literally
good.
You can play Fantasy Europa and get him, but he's just ridiculously good.
Yeah, the midfield
attacking talent's insane. Curtis is so good. It's just like
the depth and the front set. I mean, Gravenberch hasn't even gotten a kick yet. Who knows what dimension he's going to be in, but yeah, I mean, it certainly is an interesting. I mean, it's also sort of not talked about, but they bought no defenders. Like they're just like, you know what? We're not going to even play defense. Like we're going to just do everything in midfield. So it doesn't matter that we have four fit players. Like they're going to play up here. Our midfielders are this good. They're not going to be able to lay a glove. And when they do, Allison will just bail us out and we concede.
Yeah, I remember like Goodman talking about this on Double Pivot like preview because Kaylee was like, they bought no defenders and their defense was the problem. And he was like, well, the bet they're making is the same as like the year that all the center backs got hurt, is like, actually it's a forward and midfield problem. It's not a center back problem. And they didn't buy any center backs that year, right? And then they just were fucking amazing again, with fitness and the forwards and the midfielders. And they're just kind of making the same bet, just like, no, our forward pressing, our midfield pressing, blah, blah, blah. Center backs are good enough to do the job. And so far, so good. We'll see. Two insanely tough games coming up, but I'm hyped.
Yeah, I mean, Darwin is, for a pick, not a pick. I mean, he's just a complete roll of the dice. Like you have literally no idea what that spot will get you if you play him.
Yep.
And the thing with him and just thinking about him conceptually from an FPL standpoint is like, when would you sell him or why would you sell him? Like, unless if he gets hurt, it's like, what would have to happen, because he's getting these, he looks like he's going to score at least a goal when he subs on, which dates back to last year, mind you. Right.
Yep.
And, it's, I don't know. I don't know. Like, what do you make of him? It's almost
scary in a way because you own him and you're just, the idea of selling him just feels like you're about to be punished every single time. Yeah. He could not start 2 games in a row and you're selling him and you're like, this is bad. He might just fucking hat-trick next game.
Yeah.
But I wonder if Wildcard's the only time where you do get him or something, because then you can be like, I'm safe. All the rest of my picks I love. My bench I love. Yada, yada, or something like that. But he's going to sub on every game.
Bench doesn't matter, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to sub on every game.
It's just a huge gamble. I mean, it would just be taking a huge gamble there.
I think now would be the time to take the gamble. I really do. If someone is like really feeling that. You want me to have
him over Alvarez?
It's interesting. Well, let's go to City. It seems like you have words about Alvarez, because I thought he would be one of the few nailed in your team. I'm surprised that you're not.
Well, what
changed?
I think Rodri out's a big deal. I don't know what they're going to be up to. And I didn't really,
for sure.
I didn't really sit down and look at these fixtures, until the other day when I'm looking at like, well. Because then I was thinking like, well, Matto, like I could maybe actually stretch to keep Foden. Like, as of before my wild card, I have I have triple attack, and I hear you. Obviously, the best team in the league by a lot. Do the difficult fixtures matter? I mean, to me, they matter a lot. Like, I don't think that they have 4-goal potential in those games. Sure, they could catch Arteta cold and just run amok on them. But generally, against the good teams, they're sort of reserved. They sort of chill mostly and do the 2-goal thing. So, I don't know. I mean, Alvarez, he's obviously still a good pick. He's cheap, and they don't have any fit players. But I'm just, the pile up. I don't know. Like, how much are they going to be playing? What are they going to be trying to do each game? Is it going to just be another little like horses for courses thing? Like Jack's back. Bill shouldn't be out too long. He's getting Mateus Nunes in. I was also a little bit startled in the NFL game, right? Obviously they were down to 10, but even when they were up, it just felt like they were kind of like they killed like 30 minutes of that half. They weren't doing anything. Like really nothing. The goals they scored were just NFO just gifted them to them basically with a couple of just really
it was also incredible team play.
Yeah, they're like, where's Nuno Tavares? Like, go over there. Like, easy goal. Here it is. Here you go, guys. But those were really just like they waited for that little moment and then they made the ball and they just bang. They just scored 2 goals, targeting that spot. But by and large, they were just kind of knocking it around and doing nothing. So I don't know. I'm just thinking more about it. How much, how short, versus like you're sitting here with Darwin, right? Talking about Liverpool is like they don't have another gear. Like they have a really easy fixture run, and all they do is attack for the whole game, every game.
The whole game. Yep.
And that's good. That's attractive.
You could look at their fixtures and talk yourself into like they have one bad fixture at City in game week 13.
Yeah.
Like I just fully expect them to buy 60-ish, make sub on more forwards and go for it even harder in all of those games.
Yeah, I agree. So
it's an interesting one. Even when you look at last season, right, and City were this juggernaut, unstoppable. It's like there was the 6 home Man United, 4 home Liverpool, 4 home Arsenal, 4 home Tottenham, right, all those games. But then when you look at their worst performing XG games, there's away Tottenham, there's home Newcastle, home Chelsea, away Liverpool, away Man United, lowest of all of them, and so it's like it's almost like a flipping a coin, at least how it was last season, of like, okay, is this the game they're going to score 6 or score 0 against Liverpool, right? Like, is this the game where they're going to go unconscious against Arsenal and just like not a competitive game for 1 second, or they're just going to sit on a 1-0 like they did home Chelsea? And predicting that is impossible.
Yeah, it's actually
impossible.
Yeah, and there's just so much game context that you have to look at, and it's a nonsense. And what the opposition's doing, what's a good result in that moment of the year, and so many things. What are they doing? Because a lot of, I feel like he takes what they give him, and if they're not doing much, he's happy not to do much, and they'll just win 1-0. But if they're doing stuff, then City's gonna completely ass fuck you.
Like my counterpoint is the West Ham game. Like,
which one?
We got away with it. Yeah, this year. Like, we capped Son. Haaland only scored 1 goal. Haaland could have scored 5, and that would not have been unreasonable.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
They put up 4 XG. They had 30 shots that game. But if you asked me, no, I know, but if you asked me what that game is going to be like beforehand, I would have been very wrong. But my guess would have been, they go up 2-0, they just pass it around and keep the ball, and West Ham just can't do anything. West Ham just low block, never do anything, never leave their third, whatever. But they just didn't. They just kept relentlessly attacking. Like Haaland was on some sort of mission to score a fucking hat trick. So
they have that in them.
I don't fucking know.
Have those. Yeah, they have those kind of games where they're just going after. Like he had a blood vendetta against Moyes for something that he had to I have to fucking teach this Scottish prick a lesson or something.
Yeah, maybe his dad had some beef with Moyes back in the day or something.
I don't know. But yeah, that was like anything. A personal performance.
It was fucked. Yeah.
And the other thing too is, in the back of my mind, obviously I love Foden, but I typically feel like Foden is better in hard games. Like those are the games that he takes over and looks incredible. So if I'm almost like wanting to keep Foden over Alvarez, where I feel like Alvarez might go a little bit more missing in the difficult fixtures because he hasn't done it as much and he doesn't really know. I still don't know what to make of Alvarez, honestly, but I'm
He's
just
so
trying
good.
to talk myself into
that's-
wanting to keep Foden. I guess.
I mean, we've kind of like drifted into more like City generic talk instead of Alvarez talk. But like, I think making the case that he's not just an absolutely unbelievable FPL pick is totally wrong. I mean, he's just
fair.
such a good pick. Even in the last game where he gets subbed off on 50 something because Rodri chokeslammed MGW. It's like, even in that game, he could have double returned by the time he came off. Like, he was getting chances. He created a big chance. Like, it was just, he's just part of everything. So, back to what we were originally talking about, I was still surprised to not see Alvarez with his price, with his seemingly nailedness in your team. But I hear you. I mean, you can't have everyone, right? So
yeah. I mean, sitting there and being like, no, I'm going to put Darwin in instead of him, and it's like, what?
I mean, the risk factor of that is absurdly high, but might work.
Dumb shit works all the time.
Dumb shit works all the time. And that is a podcast. No, we got to talk about the North London Derby also. I mean, just a few questions from this one. Rob said, is Saka essential? He's hard to afford with Mo, Son, and Holland. And then Son questions. Jitter said, is Son worth a hit in for Rashford? Or should I just wait for next week for Luton? And Kabamin said, if Matto is confirmed not fit, does that make Son a bad pick? Shite pick.
Well, you famously
Saka
just got rid of Saka.
Yeah, which is I just regret it a lot. I mean, he's, am I going to get him this week? Don't know, but he's definitely like in my plans, very high on the list, I would say, to get. I mean, it's not that I didn't like him or don't rate him or anything. It was just like it was before Arsenal Man United game because I needed to do it for a price rise. And I was just like, he doesn't seem like he's in that good form. Nate kind of backed that up. Arsenal were kind of like stumbling a little bit, but his points from game week 1 on just 10, 3, 8, 4, 6, 13. It's like I got rid of Mo. It's like I had another Mo and I got rid of him. So, obviously he's got to come back in my team. That was just a big mistake.
Yeah. I mean, pens are good. His 2 pens
are good.
One outside the box worldie. I mean, I still he's obviously incredible. I mean, it does feel a little bit like that though. I mean, where there's just so many dumb avenues for him, whether it's a fucking assist on a corner, avenues. They get a pen. He's obviously has the quality. The one thing though, he's just really not doing that much of it. Maybe we're going to start seeing a little bit more of is just getting good open play chances. I mean, he's just like, he's not getting into good shot taking positions very often.
In the games where Nate was saying that he's out of form, those were the games where he got the good open play chances and fucked them.
They were like headers and shit though, weren't they?
Yeah, but it was still like a header from 2 yards out. And there was one in, I think it was the Man United game also, when it was still 1-1 and he had it on his left foot from the penalty spot.
I guess what I'm saying is like, there are a couple, obviously he's still an attacker and it's not going to be 0 times. But I think generally speaking, like him getting, drifting in to receive a cross is less than like, him being more central, not the wing wide man in the build up to get something in transition or something or during a break opportunity. I just feel like he's been so peripheral in general in open play and like much more facilitator than Donger. So I don't know. I mean, like last year he had 14 goals. He has 3 this year. I mean, I don't see him getting more than, like last year's. I mean, look, okay, he gets 200 points, but I mean, it's just like the sustainability is, I'm still like not sure. Like it kind of reminds me of like the Bruno season when he was just like, I don't know how, but he's getting points every game. Like that's kind of how I feel. And
he already has 2 pens and he only scored 2 pens in each of the last 2 seasons, right? So he's therefore on pace for more kind of. But I mean, he's never been.
He should have
more
3.
than,
Odegaard took 1.
Right.
Yeah,
he could be on another goal. I mean, he's never been more than a quarter of an XG per 90 kind of guy. It just seems like he probably never will be at this point, But
as long as he's playing in this position,
it's good, but it's not fucking Mo, right? Like he's never that, right? He's never gonna just like all of a sudden he's taking 2 more shots a game and doubling his XG. It doesn't seem like that's likely, but the avenues are just insane. The corners, the quality of the team, the quality of his teammates, the pens, the assists, it's
assists,
all there.
Yeah, I mean, the assists are something that is interesting. Like, I mean, I could imagine him having a 20 assist year.
He could,
maybe not necessarily this year, but like you mentioned, the quality around him. I mean, Jesus accepting, but all by and large, there's a lot of assists there. But yeah, I mean, Saka just seems like a very obvious pick. You just don't have to think about. Arsenal is starting to play a lot better.
Yeah, that's also a factor, right? Is like Jesus came back and they're playing better and more fluid, I think.
Yeah. And, I mean, the Martinelli's miss, but, their group in Champions League is really easy. Like, it just feels like Saka's just an incredible pick. And he kind of snuck out of the little bit of, not sure what he's up to with, a really good performance against Spurs mostly. And, he's just got everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, I only watched highlights in that game, but he was fucking unreal.
He was good.
He was so good that game.
Yeah, he played well.
What about
and then
Son,
on the other
though?
side, I mean, to me, it's just like he's coming into his own sort of like since bombing Pigeon fucking idiot out, putting him up top. He's just, I think he's just learning kind of what he's supposed to be doing. And him and Maddison are starting to have a better understanding. And it does suit him, playing centrally. Because he's sort of, to me, like he used to sort of just be like straight line runner or diagonal line runner. And I'm just so fast, I'm going to be. But he actually is like really, really clever in his movements in the final third when they have
just
the ball.
Look at the first goal against Arsenal, right?
But even back to like this, I think he's just evolving. He's not what he used to be, just fast. We're gonna set. We're just gonna break at the halfway line, and I'm gonna run. And playing striker, I feel like he's just gonna keep getting better. It's a real no-brainer pick to me still. As long as he's playing striker, that he's just.
I completely agree. And the finishing
and he should be on pens.
The finishing matters, with these kind of guys, right? He doesn't need to get as many chances or as many good chances, and you can see what he can do. I mean, that first finish looks like sort of he tapped it. It was insane.
That was a messy goal, honestly.
That was very messy kind of goal. Just a near post run. He just like bends it softly in on the on the inside of the post. It was gorgeous. And just look at the fixtures, right? Home Liverpool, decent game for him. Like he's always scored. I think he's fucking scored every game against Liverpool in my life. And then he's at Luton, home Fulham, at Palace, home Chelsea, at Wolves. Give me a break. He is just an auto pick. And I don't care about Matto. Like Matto he can get as many fucking scans as he wants. I mean, Son is still a good pick. How annoying is Matto with these scans? He is such a fucking baby. Like he's the kid when you're like growing up, like he gets like a sniffly nose. He's at the school nurse. Every time you walk by the school nurses, the door's open. Matto's just sitting there crying. That's Matto. He goes to urgent care for anything. He's like constipated for one day. He goes to urgent care. His girlfriend's like, "You're fine." He's like, "I'm not fine." That's Matto. It's like, "I need a scan. It really hurts." And just like, "Okay, dude." Fucking bad. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Son is good without him also, I think.
Matto, man. So what about Matto though in a FPL context standpoint?
Great pick.
Yeah.
Great long-term hold pick.
I mean, he's also similar where just things run through him. It's just like a bit interesting. I mean, it's where are the goals coming from for him? That's my one reservation with Matto. It's just, how is he actually going to be scoring goals?
I mean, he still shoots a lot. They're just bad shots, but that's like his MO, kind of. That's just like his MO.
But they're not even bad. They're like a different kind of bad because they're all getting blocked. They just get blocked. So I feel like the bad shots he used to take with Leicester, which was, yes, he takes bad shots all the time, were from distance that he would just fucking goal kick,
Yeah.
But I mean, at least if he didn't get under it and he did the other one, then it's like, well, top bins, and the clang bang in off the corner of the bar or something. Bang. But
I think it's still the same. Like, I mean, I honestly think it's the same. It's just, it's replace hitting into for a goal kick with getting blocked. I mean, it's like if you take bad shots most of the time, it's going to look bad. And, the times you score it, it's going to be great. He's also getting more touches in the box, more touches in the final third than he ever had, right? So, he only has that one goal. Who was that against? Like Bournemouth maybe?
Yeah,
where he was, like that was like
that was
on the penalty spot tapping,
which was also that was a hard chance to finish.
Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, it was like kind of behind him while he's running the other way. Yeah.
It was a very narrow corner from the aim to where Neto was.
And then his other goal is the absolute typical Matto goal, right?
Yeah.
Like he passed, he cut inside, and he just bent it into the corner, right? And I just feel like there's going to be, he scores 10 a year, and he's going to do that 8 more times,
Yeah. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So, he's a good pick. Probably fine. I don't know. I mean, he played on. His knee, obviously, it looked bad. Like, it looked like it got fucking completely dislocated or something, but clearly not. And, the scan will confirm that it's not injured because that's all they do, and he does them. So, yeah, Matto. And, like you said, right, the fixture run. I mean, it's just...
The fixture run... The way the team plays,
The other thing, too, I think that's a little bit is, BJ got his first start.
Looks good.
I think it looked amazing. Like,
I mean, I said I only watched the highlights, so I'm happy to hear what you saw of him. But in highlights, he looked great.
Yeah, and I don't like him. I mean, I've been very. I don't think neither of us really have, but I think we were pretty critical of him last year watching him play for NFO, and but all that said, he played for NFO, and there was a lot of stress on every single time he did anything because they got so few times to do anything.
Yeah.
And, him, when he can kind of, instead of being someone the enemy has like game plan for, someone who can sort of just fall in. I mean, he's an outlet. He's so fast.
He's one of the faster players in the league.
Yeah, he just gives them a different dimension, and he stretches the opponent in a different way. He might, just not be good enough. I think that's what both of our concerns are with him, right? Where he's just, he's maybe just not that good. Like he might just be Dan James, a little better than Dan James, or Adama Traore, and that's all he is.
Yep.
I have more time for him though, because he does have some good technical qualities. Like,
well, and that's part of the thing that having like good vibes around the team does, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and just seeing it, giving him a chance. Like, I didn't see him starting that game, right? I'm like, no fucking shot he's starting, right? Like, Manner's doing pretty well, whatever, blah blah blah. But he gets in, he gives him a shot, he plays well.
He was so important for them.
Yeah, he was so important, and in
now
hindsight,
he's injured, though, which sucks.
It was
he could be out for another month.
Yeah, he might be hurt, but in hindsight, I mean, like it's a huge purchase that they made there too, right? Yeah. Because 3 games in, their left winger is now their striker. Mm-hmm. And like they got Manor on a free, and they got Brennan, and like these guys are gonna have to play real minutes all of a sudden, right? Because they're down a winger. So yeah, I'm Brennan curious. Spurs, fun to watch, very fun to watch.
Yeah.
How high scoring is that Liverpool Spurs game gonna be? Like, what the fuck is that?
Like 3-2 or something. Kulusevski's had a really weird season, dude. I don't know what he's up to this year.
Up and down.
He plays it like every minute that he can, any minute he can handle, and he looks like the worst player on the field most games to me. And
then he does something amazing.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I don't know. I mean, he keeps every game. It's like he has 15 minutes where it's like, oh, he looks good. And then he has 15 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like the bread, the
very
Gordon Ramsay. It's like, but it's like within the same game. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he's very predictable, and is like trying to beat a man. It's just like, he telegraphs all of his body movements. Like he, they would say like, oh, dip of a shoulder. Like, well, he literally dips his shoulder before he moves. He's like, I'm going this way. And the defender just like takes it off him. It's like, what the fuck, dude? But yeah, fun game. All
right. That's good.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, we didn't mention the double. Is there anything there?
I don't want to talk about that.
There's that, and then we still have Thursday pod to go more over your wild card. I think I'll move some of these questions into the Thursday pod, and we'll take it on there.
Okay.
Let me
What are you
slap
looking at
passes.
for your moves?
Oh, yeah.
Have you thought about it at all? Or
I haven't thought of like specific moves, but I have definitely been playing around with a mini wild card, 3 frees and a hit. Just like Chilwell,
you have
Henry.
3 frees?
Yeah, I have 3 frees for the cheap price of -4.
Right.
Like something along the lines of Chilwell, Henry, and midfielder probably out. Maybe get a Newcastle defender or 2, and then a midfielder I like whether it's a Bruno downgrade or a Raz downgrade. I have entertained like those same 2 defenders in like Wissa to Alvarez.
Yeah, what do you feel? How do you feel about Wissa and Buma over there?
Well, I mean,
just casually blanking their lives away, playing terribly.
I didn't mind at all after Palace, Bournemouth, and Newcastle because I thought they played great. They looked good. They put up numbers. That doesn't bother me. That Everton game was horrific. I mean, they were awful. Like you were DMing me like, oh, they Brentford play against play to the level of their opponent, but they played way below the level of Everton that game. So yeah, it's shaky. I think I'll probably just hold them for a couple more. I think patience has been like good for me. Last season and a bit this season too, but
4 blanks in a row.
It's a lot of blanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of blanks. And not having Alvarez, at Wolves, don't like that.
Well,
don't like
wasn't
that.
Too bad when you didn't have him fucking home NFO, so.
Yeah, I just need Calvin Phillips to throw his arms around someone's neck and then we're cooking with gas. But yeah, I don't know. Probably some triple move, but I don't really know yet. It's funny that I've red flagged Henry dropping in price, by the way. What the fuck is that all about? I thought red flag.
Yeah, but he was up to. Oh, he did drop. I see what you're saying. Yeah, but he went up.
I thought the red flag prevented the drop, but
you didn't lose anything on him anyway.
But like I've red flagged Henry out for the fucking season in my team, expected back June 1st, and I'm still looking at like Chilwell and Wissa and Bruno. I'm like, I need to get these guys out of my team. I have someone who's not going to play for the rest of the season confirmed. I'm like, well, I can hide him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But let me slap past. We got 2 new Patreon signups. We got Kristen Hugie and Andreas Lindholm. Yes, baby, get in there. I think that's it, man.
Cool, man. So
do we have a normal week this week?
Well, there's midweeks, but there's no Friday deadline. So
Friday's huge.
Next week's kind of fucked up because there's the double on Tuesday and there's a Monday game. So really weird. There's only 1 game on Sunday.
Wait, what is this scheduling?
There's probably maybe someone died in England or something. I don't know.
There's 6 games at the 10 a.m. slot on Saturday.
Yeah.
1 game Sunday, 1 game Monday, 1 game Tuesday.
Yeah. I think I might have to pull a trump card on Lauren and send her off to gymnastics without me.
Yeah, take the kid.
I don't want to miss a minute of the Spurs Liverpool game. I can't miss
that. That's gonna be a fun game.
But anyway, yeah. So I think we'll just do Thursday, normal my life, and then Friday we'll do the Rate My Team stream.
Yeah. Yep. Live stream back on. All right, dude. Any last words?
See you tomorrow, baby.
See you tomorrow. Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLFPL, sportspedia.com/FMLFPL. Subscribe.